Hi everyone, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode number 98. In today's episode we're looking at a lovely book on winter magic that was sent to me this week. We're going to be looking at Haxan, the 1922 film, and we're going to be talking about the winter solstice. So grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everyone, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. My name is Wren, I'm known as a cemetery witch because I live on a cemetery, and every Friday we get together for an episode of the Witching Week where we talk about witchy things and we look at the turn of the wheel and the change of the seasons, and we just chat about, whatever it is I've discovered in this week. So, welcome. First of all, incense. So today I am burning some Inner Peace, which is a new one for me, I believe. It was definitely in a new box. I don't think I've tried this one. The meditation one's really, really nice as well by Satya. And I'm drinking hot chocolate today. So yeah, it would be good if I could finish this today because I don't want to waste this one. How are you all doing? Have you had a good couple of weeks? I obviously saw you last week, but how is it going? We're into December proper now. I'll be honest, I've had a very, very, very rough week, or a very rough couple of weeks. I did touch on feeling depressed last week, I believe, because I think it's really important to talk about these things, and it's gone a little bit beyond that for me. I did have a bit of a sort of a mental breakdown last week, and it took about 4 days for my brain to properly recover from that. My head just exploded basically. I think I've just got so much on at the moment, so many pressures, so many worries about my health. As this video goes live at 4 o'clock, I will actually be walking into my specialist cardiology appointment. That's today. And yeah, so I might be feeling very different now to how I was feeling this morning when I filmed this, and I will let you know how I get on with that. So yeah, it's been a very stressful week, and I nearly had a panic attack for the first time in over 20 years. I was sat here at home on my own. Something stressful came to mind or came through the post related to the thing that kind of triggered it in the first place, and I nearly had a panic attack. So I know I've got to really do some reflection on next year and find a bit more balance in my life. I am pushing myself all the time, and I don't think that is doing me any good, but also I need to get today's appointment out the way, and I think I'll be fine. I think that's what's bothering me. How has it been for you? I think we should all have a moment of mindfulness. I don't want to say negative, but it seems like there's been a lot of negative vibes about, and looking at the astrology for the rest of December with both the new moon and the full moon, it's a little bit shaky. So yeah, let's have a deep breath and just have a moment of mindfulness. Put me on pause if you need to, and let's take a deep breath or two. It'll just give me a minute to get my breath back. How does that feel? So much better, isn't it? Right, so what have you been up to? Tell me. What did we do? What have we done this week? Right, I've got notes, but I need to get my brain in gear. So last weekend, hubby and I watched a film called Haxan. You've probably heard of it. It's a 1922 silent essay film. It's described as horror / documentary, and it is set to music, so they've put music to it now, but it was silent at the time when it came out, and it is 102 years old. So it was filmed in 1920 and 1921 in Denmark. It's a Swedish film. The writer and director was Benjamin Christensen, and it was released in 1922, and it just explores themes of the history of witchcraft, witches, demonology, Satanism, witch hunts, mass hysteria, neurological problems that have led to people being accused of, witchcraft or being a demon or an evil spirit, and the oppression of women. So it looks at past attitudes from sort of the medieval time and beyond and forwards as well. people's attitudes towards these things. And you have to remember while you're watching it that it is talking about the past, but that film is now 102 years old now, so some of the views and some of the thoughts about historical things are perhaps not quite as accurate, and we've since learnt more. So very, very interesting, basically about the things that we used to be scared of. It's in a sort of like a documentary style storytelling narration, but at the same time there are these dramatized scenes, and we found some of them to be shocking, some of them to be quite depressing, some of them funny, some of them really quite sweet. There's a scene where these people that are dressed as cats come out of either a church or some sort of building. Some parts we laughed, even though I'm not certain they were supposed to be sort of comedic, but it's cinematographically beautiful to look at it. You know, when you look at the costumes and the set and how they've lit it, it's absolutely amazing for 1922. And like, I'm not a historian, I don't know much about that time, but we did find ourselves asking how they got some of the older actresses to do certain things during that time that were quite shocking. So yeah, really, really interesting. Definitely recommend it. The film's examination of witchcraft has been described as sort of quasi-feminist, because it does show that the oppression of women happened under many guises. So in this case, accusations of witchcraft, and that had been going on for a very long time across history. And yeah, so we were really, really interested by this. We really enjoyed it. It was beautiful, it was fascinating, it was shocking, it was compelling. I would personally recommend it, even if you just watch it once. Even if you watch it and you don't particularly enjoy it, you can say that you've seen it. And it is remarkable that it's over 100 years old, and Rotten Tomatoes have given it an aggregate score of 91%, which is really, really good. So yeah, highly recommend. So moving on to the winter solstice, we've got the winter solstice in a couple of weeks, or the summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere, and then we've got Christmas not long after that. The last couple of weeks have just been non-stop. They have been crazy busy, but I have had a chance, really, I have managed to sit down and have a look at some dates and times of sunrises. And if my estimations are correct, we will actually get 3 seconds of extra light on the 22nd of December. So that is the point at which the standstill has finished. Standstill, solstice, sun stands still, and the light increases. And then by the 31st of December, we will have a whole extra minute of light, which is very, very exciting. And then it stacks up quickly from there. By Imbolc, we will see a difference. We will have blue skies and the light quality will be different. At the moment, like especially on Wednesday, it's just very, very grey, and we had mist all day on Wednesday. The mist just did not leave from sort of sunrise to sundown. But by Imbolc, if you take a December blue sky day and a February blue sky day, there is a difference in the light quality. It is much brighter. You kind of feel this uplift, you know. The light is brighter, the sky looks bluer, everything looks crisper and more alive. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that. On the 31st, we also have a black new moon. So there are 3 definitions of a black moon, and we will be exploring this over on Patreon this month. We'll be learning all about this. So if you're interested, come and join us. So there are some interesting things going on this month in terms of astrology, in terms of the moon. There is, I would say, I don't want to say negative, but there is a bit of a negative vibe at the moment, I've noticed, both with the full moon and the new moon coming up. Some sort of challenging energies, some heavy energy, and I've noticed that a lot of people are really feeling it and are really feeling the winter and this time of year. I can't say we've done it just yet because we haven't got to the solstice yet, but we have nearly broken the back of winter. It's funny, isn't it? Because it does really depend on you know, what you consider to be winter. Is the winter solstice midwinter, or is it the beginning of winter? Because I've done several filmings of this video this morning. I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself or not, but anyway, I'm going to go for it. And if I have said this already in this video, I'm very sorry. But meteorologically speaking, winter starts on the 1st of December, and astronomically speaking, it starts at the winter solstice. However, it is called midwinter, so some people consider that to be the middle of winter, and it is that halfway point, isn't it, between Samhain and Imbolc. So I think just look outside your window. That's the best way to see whether it's winter or not. And talking of winter, I was sent a really, really lovely book. I spoke to the author directly myself, but this gorgeous book, Yule Magick, A Witch's Yule. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, for a start, the cover is so lovely. These icy shades of blue, and it is aimed at seasonal witches and beginners. And basically, it just covers Yule and all the like deities and spirits associated with it, the pagan origins of Christmas. It does all the usual magical stuff, so we explore magical tools in this. There are magical correspondences and candle correspondences, and there are lots of projects. So hand-dipped candles, there's a family mustard recipe, there's a Yule wish tontu, which is like a little sort of like wish gnome. Sara Haydon teaches you how to make that. There is a traditional hymeli, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, I'm sorry Sara, a protective one. Usually they're hung in buildings to sort of, I don't want to say appease, it's an offering to the crop spirits, the field spirits, to ensure a good harvest, but she takes you through step by step making a protective hymeli. So lots of lovely things in here, divination, using light and lunar energy. So even if you're not that fussed about the topic of Yule, there's lots of witchy stuff in here that will just teach you about witchcraft anyway. So very, very beautiful book. I've only had a quick flick through it, but already I would say this is one that I'd recommend. I will do a full review on Instagram. So thank you so much, Sara, if you're watching. It's an absolutely beautiful book, and I can't wait to actually sit down and read it properly rather than just flick through it. Something else I've seen this week that I actually bought that are lovely for the season are these Tisserand essential oil blends that are meant for diffusers. They're hung in these little boxes, which I assume are supposed to go on the Christmas tree, and they've got these really, really lovely blends. So there's lavender and orange, which is relax and unwind, and there is peace and tranquility, which is bergamot and patchouli, and I picked these up from TK Maxx. So I am trying to take the messaging from these. I'm trying to get the idea in my head that this is a time when we should be wintering, and it really, really is, but I'm running around like a lunatic. So I am going to aim to have a much calmer January and a much calmer February to just let my body and my brain catch up with me a little bit. And so this is a reminder that the witching week, I know this is a short one this week with all that's going on, me needing to get to the hospital. This is a reminder that next week will be the last witching week of the year. Usually I go all the way through the Christmas period, right up to the end, but this year I'm going to take the second half of December off. I really need to do it this year. I need to do it for my body, for my health, for my brain. So my apologies that there won't be 2 episodes of the witching week at the end of December. But then I will be back on the 3rd of January for our 100th episode. So that gives me a little bit of time to plan episode 100. And I'm just really, really looking forward to it. And then next year, I hope to be, I've become a little bit unreliable in the last sort of couple of months. Because I've just run out of energy, and my heart is just working me so hard at the moment. So thank you for understanding, and I'm hoping that, you know, by the beginning of next year, I'm going to have a plan at least on things moving forwards. Balance. What about you? Have you thought about this? I can see people around me as well, you know, that are doing similar jobs to me, wanting to find that balance, and it's really, really difficult. You have to plan the year a lot sort of further ahead than you think you would for Christmas and Yule. But yeah, it's something I'm going to be working on really, really hard next year. What about New Year's resolutions? Because this kind of almost is a New Year's resolution, isn't it? Except I'm making that pledge now to find that balance. What about you? Do you do New Year's resolutions? I know that people are really, really mixed on them. Some people find them really helpful because the calendar, the end of the calendar and the start of another calendar is a really good sort of like threshold point for them, and that really helps them get in the spirit of starting something new. For other people, and I guess I'm one of them, I think that, you know, any time is a good time to make changes, but there's no doubt about it, having a fresh new start is always lovely, although we have one of those every single day. But sometimes we need to sort of like mentally gear up for something, don't we? So I'm going to do some cards now, and then I will leave you alone for the weekend. Tell me in the comments what you've been up to, how you're doing, if anything exciting has happened. I think you can probably tell from the light in the kitchen that it's such a dark day today. It's such a dark day. Okay, so I pulled 3 cards today, and I'm actually laughing at the cards and the message that they're giving us. So we have got the 4 of Swords, which I think we had last week, didn't we? We have got the Ace of Pentacles, and we have got the Tower. I feel like this is a really short, sharp message. I feel like, I just feel like these 3 cards just say it all, really. So what were we saying last week? Perhaps it was the time before, about rest. Even the most battle-hardened warrior needs to take a rest sometimes. We need to just drop everything and rest our mind, body and soul. Otherwise, we are in danger of ending up in a tomb. Sometimes we need to do this. I mean, we can, from our resting position, we can still see what's going on in life. I know there's that fear of missing out, isn't there? But from our position, we can still see what's happening. We can still be connected to everything. We can still have that level of control. But sometimes we just need to stop and take a breath and a breather. Now, this little card has come along to say that there will still be those opportunities. There will still be things waiting for us when we are ready to finish that rest and to come back. Quite often, when the 4 of Swords comes up, it is one of those situations where if you don't stop and you don't take a rest, then actually you're going to put yourself further back. It actually benefits us. Sometimes we get further forwards when we stop and have that rest, where we can regroup, we can just recuperate a little bit, and then we can get back to things with the sort of tenacity and the enthusiasm and the power that we had before. So this is just a little sort of pat on the back, a little reminder, a little sort of like, you know, it's going to be all right, that the opportunities and the good things, the benefits, all the nice things are still going to be there if we have that breather. You know, the world isn't going to fall apart. However, if we don't take that breather and we don't bear all of this in mind, then there will be certain catastrophe, and you will be putting yourself in a situation where literally everything has crumbled and fallen to the floor, and you do have to rebuild, and you do have to start from the beginning again, and you have to try and wade through the foundations of what's fallen apart to put things back together again. And that is much harder. That's much harder than actually going, do you know what? I need to just stop for a moment and I need to just have a rest. So I am taking note of this message. I did say last week that, you know, as much as I make the intention that I'm pulling out these cards for the collective, which is you guys, and that the message will resonate with some of you and not others. If it resonates with you, then it's for you. That actually sometimes the messages are a bit of a kick up the backside for me, or they're a message for me. And again, this is one of those times, which is why I was smiling when these ones came out. But I think it's a message that we all need to hear at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of very frazzled, depressed, fed up people that are clearly struggling. So it's time to just take a step back. It's time to just take a step back in whatever capacity that is. You know, it's like trying to get my husband to take off holiday. I absolutely appreciate that when he gets back, the mountain of emails is so big that within that first half an hour, it almost feels like you've never been away, and it just feels like it's not worth it. However, the positive impact that this has on your body and your mind and your soul for having a break is really, really important. And if you don't take that break, what happens is you burn out, or you have an almighty meltdown. And so it's really, really important, everyone watching this, to listen to this message. So whether that be taking some time out of a job, I know some jobs won't even let you take time off in December and January. Retail is a prime example of that. But if you can take a day off, even if it's just to catch up on things and then get an early night, that is better than just absolutely thrashing yourself. If you're finding yourself on social media and it's upsetting you, or it's overwhelming you, maybe you're lashing out at other people, then it's time to take a step away from social media. If it is, you know, the upcoming holiday season and spending that time with family, then it is time to either look at your plans, or to cut things down, or to remove yourself from stressful family in the next couple of weeks, so that when you see them over the festive period, if you're doing that, then you have the ability to cope with it. So yeah, you need a break. Everything will be fine. Everything will not be fine if you don't take that break. Even if the break is just 10 minutes a day to yourself, just 10 quiet minutes, letting your brain rest and do absolutely nothing, you absolutely need to take that. I'm going to go back and watch last week's video and see if we had the Four of Swords. I think we did, and I think we spoke about rest. And if you felt that message resonated for you then, and you're feeling like this one's resonating with you now, then you need to listen, and you need to act accordingly. This is Aunt Wren giving you some friendly advice, because I care about you, all of you. So we're going to leave it on that. It's not a negative reading, it's a very positive reading. It's telling you that if you're getting burnt out, then you need to consider it. If you're feeling worn out, then you need to consider it. Right then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope it's absolutely fabulous. Enjoy all your Christmas and Yule planning and all the exciting things about this time of year. If you're having trouble, then reach out to a friend. Don't be afraid to do that, and just take really good care of yourselves and each other. All right, lots of love and blessings. Bye.